done longer indoors, but that's an outdoor personal best for Bekramantschuk.
Well, there are 17 starters in this men's 3,000 metres, and I can tell you that going by the split spinals from the pacemaker, this could be a world record attempt, even though the world record of Daniel Komen from 1996 is one of the most respected world records on the books. 7:20, a long way, below 60 seconds per lap. There is Nicholas Kip-Correa, fourth in Tokyo last year at the Olympic Games, Kip-Correa. And second in the Commonwealth Games. Lovalou, well, he was a huge surprise, the man from South Sudan, with his win in Stockholm 5 or 6 weeks back. Wasn't in Eugene, but world #1 after a spectacular win against the clock on the 30th of June. Paul Chelimo, third in Tokyo over 5,000 metres last year. Jacob Krop is there as well, so is Duke Manayo. Kip Kemboy, Michele, Grant Fisher, watch him. Stewie McSwain, he's had flu since the World Championships, so not in the best of form, his agent tells me. Don't expect too much from him, would be a nice surprise if he can. And Benyo there, second away from the camera, was the silver medalist at the Commonwealth Games over 10,000 metres. 10th in Eugene over 5,000. Hugo Ay of France there will be looking to improve on his 7:41 indoors in Madrid back in early March. He won the French 5,000 title recently, but didn't have the qualifying time for Eugene, didn't run at the World Championships. It is a loaded field this, and we're expecting something very special. They've asked for 2:25 for the first kilometre, and listen to this, for halfway, 1,500 metres, 3:39. That is below world record tempo. I think it's very, very ambitious indeed. We shall see how they go. But what do you usually know from when a pace has been asked that fast, that somebody has been doing spectacular things in training. So 7.5 laps of the track then. Who's it going to be who will push this on through the middle stages? And importantly, Steve, even if they get to halfway and anything close to 3:40, that third quarter is going to be the tough section. I think in the last lap and a half, you can get the bit between your teeth and you can push on, knowing the pain won't last much longer. It's that third quarter, which so often in the middle and the shorter long distances, if you know what I mean, is the testing patch of the race.
Yeah, I did raise my eyebrow. I was chatting to Remy, the guy, the sort of meet organizer of the athletes, and the one who sets all of this, and he said, right, Aragawi wants to go for 7:20, and I raised an eyebrow. Exactly the same thing that you're thinking there. And he said, well, we've got Sam Tanner, who's had such a great 1,500 metre season. He just ran 3:31, didn't he, at the Commonwealth Games? And he said if he can keep going beyond 1,500 metres, that's what you were saying, Tim, those hard laps, I'm just not sure. I'm like you, I'm thinking, how do you keep that going through laps 4 and 5, maybe into lap 6? Because Aragawi's asked for a crazy fast pace here, but that's what he's asked for, that's what he wants, that's what the lights have been set at. Let's see.
Well, I think you and I commentated on that world record of Daniel Komen, Steve, together back in 1996, and we were just flabbergasted each time the clock came up and showed the splits for the great Kenyan on his way to that world record. He hadn't competed, of course, in the Olympic Games a few weeks earlier in Atlanta. He wasn't selected, bizarrely. 58.93, that lap to 600 metres, so it is quick, but surprise, surprise, it's single file. Now, Stewie McSwain, who likes to lead, is back in 9th place, the tall figure in blue, centre of picture. Will he last?
To sit off the back of Aragawi, 2:26, that's incredibly quick, Tim. Just break off for a second and see Tori Franklin in the triple jump. This competition being led by Shanika Ricketts, 14.91, still no mark from Rojas. Franklin then, medalist at the World Championships. That might improve matters for her. So we're in the latter stages. Bekramantschuk we saw with that new personal best of 14.59 in the third round. And Tori Franklin looks as though she might have just gone a little further. Good on the board. A little bit of room to spare perhaps. But the American doesn't look as though it's going to challenge the lead. But that's a season's best for Franklin. 14.74 in round 4. Well, they come through below us, having gone through 1,200 in 2:56.
So they are keeping a tempo of a long way below 60 seconds per lap. And Aragawi in the orange there, right up behind the pacemaker Tanner. They've got to keep pushing this on, though. They've got to be aggressive here in this middle kilometre. Remember, they've gone 58.9, 58.4, and then that third lap of 59.1 was a little bit slower than they need. Unbelievably, Komen's lap times work out at something like 58.7 in that sort of region. Kropp is in there as well. Don't discount Kropp. Jacob Kropp, the silver medalist at the World Championships over 5,000 and a bronze medalist at the Commonwealth Games as well. He's had a fantastic last few weeks. Kropp in third place behind Tanner and Aragawi.
That looks as though it could be it for Sam Tanner. He just extends a little bit, tries to keep them up with the lights. Aragawi is still unbelievably right on this with just 3 laps to go, looking fairly strong. But others are making moves behind. Ndika Mwenyao from Burundi is starting to catch 1 or 2 ahead of him. But Aragawi, the moment with Kropp, who's running brilliantly well. Lubalu trying to match what he did in Stockholm here, but this is a completely different type of race. And look at Aragawi leaning forward. This is hard work, and those lights are just beginning to sneak away from him, Tim.
Well, they are, but he's on his own, and he's working hard, driving hard with the arms, is Aragawi. He's a 7:33 performer. He's looking for a personal best here by over 10 seconds if he were to get anywhere near Komen's world record mark of 7:20. He's just keeping the others at bay, is Aragawi. He's maintaining his form well. He's gone through 2,000 metres now, Aragawi, in 4:54. That in itself is world-class running as they come through with 2 laps to run. And he's going to have to run his last 800 in about 1:56.5. I think that might be beyond him, unless he's got fabulous speed on the final lap. The gaps are awkward. They're not really growing. They're just staying relatively stable at the moment between the first 4 men.
Grant Fisher making progress as well. He won't be too far off his own American record, anywhere around that 7:29, 7:30. But poor Aragawi is having to work so hard now. He tried to set it up, the lights have gone, and now it's about the others who've just sat off it just a little bit. Ndika Mwenyao of Burundi did that very smartly indeed, and now he's onto the back of the other 2. There's Grant Fisher trying to close the gap as well. Aragawi's very tired, but he's trying to keep this going, and that looks like a lead which he might be able to hold if he can just stay strong over the last 500.
He comes into the straight as Aragawi with 500 to run. He's maintained a good tempo. Behind him, the battle carries on. And Ndika Mwenyao in second place, Kropp in third. Aragawi coming to the bell there. 6:25, 6:26 at the bell, and going through and chasing hard now, with Ndika Mwenyao in second, and moving into third is Lubalu, the world leader against the clock. He goes past Kropp. Fisher in fifth, it's moving really well into the back straight. Aragawi, with 300 to run, is now being chased down. The gap is closing all the time. Ndika Mwenyao there, looking strong. He has the bit between his teeth. So much easier to chase hard when you've got a target. The Burundian in second, 200 to run. The gap is down to about 600 metres, 60 metres, or 6 metres even. That's all as they come into the final bend. Aragawi surely can hang on. This would be cruel. It's now a race. Forget about record chasing. And Ndika Mwenyao has got the bit between his teeth. Aragawi is fading, and it's going to be a win for the Burundian, there's no doubt about that. His best 7:34, it's going to be a massive chunk off that. It is a quick time, one of the quickest in history, 7:25. Aragawi in second place. That was so cruel. He led for so much of the second half of the race where the pacemakers had gone. But the winning time there, well, quite spectacular by Ndika Mwenyao. 7:25.93. Steve, on the all-time list, that puts him in a rarefied atmosphere, up in the top half dozen of all time.
An American record for Grant Fisher as well, and it was Ndika Mwenyao and Fisher who judged it better. Both of them charged it. This man had to miss the World Championships because he got injured just at the wrong time. He'd had a good pre-season, or good first half of the season. Looked as though perhaps he could go there and contend. So we didn't see him in Eugene, didn't see what he was capable of. And here we might just have got a hint of what was possible. It was set up by Aragawi, and shame for him that he couldn't last it out. But this man judged it better. Grant Fisher ran a brilliant last 1,000 meters as well. He was charging down the home straight just in the background there. And as I said, he's been rewarded with a new national record. So we've got a national record for Burundi, a national record for the USA, others with personal best further back behind, all helped by poor Aragawi, who nonetheless, Tim, still gets a very quick new personal best. Great running.
Yeah, the place time's superb. Grant Fisher, wow, 7:28.48, sub 4-minute mile pace for 7.5 laps. Aragawi more concerned with what's going on behind him. The celebration from Monaco, it was a beautiful looking runner, wonderfully balanced. Is an early celebration, rightly so. 7:25.93, national record. Aragawi personal best. Fisher, an area record. Kip Correa personal best. Lobalu couldn't win this time, unlike Stockholm, but 7:31 for him, for the South Sudanese athlete. That was a special race, one of the best 3000s for many a year. And all because, to be fair, the pacemakers did a great job, and Aragawi chased it hard. But we said before the race that Coleman's world record of 7:20 all those years back, goodness me, 26 years ago now, is a very, very tough nut to crack. And I think it was mightily ambitious to have a go at it. You've got to have a go, otherwise you'll never know. But they certainly know now.
Well, that's the biggest run of his career. Such a shame he couldn't go